And oh, that show, I did almost 3 hours, and I kind of want to release the full thing because I gave them so much shit about Jimmy Savile, and I like edited out that whole run because I had to. Back then, I always thought that like comedy sets had to be 1 hour, and so I had to cut out 2 hours. So I had to take out like so much crowd work. And I kept mocking them for like Jimmy Savile. And one of the things was like, imagine there's no hell below us. It's like, well, where the hell's Jimmy Savile? That was in like a different version because I did 2 shows that night. I was literally just being like, how did you let Jimmy Savile do that? And they were just laughing. And I'm like, no, but seriously, like he was killing and fucking all your kids. And they were just like laughing and clapping. And it's pretty interesting stuff. What do you guys want to hear? That's funny. Jimmy Savile in hell. I know. I was like, well, I did a whole thing that Jimmy Savile was in hell, but Hitler was in heaven. Where I'm like, imagine there's no heaven. I'm like, then where's Hitler? And it's like no hell below us. It's like, then where's Jimmy Savile? Because I was saying that I wanted Hitler to beat England. Because I like go at people when I go to their place, right? Like if you're going to talk about Hitler being awesome, the best place to do is England because Hitler killed like millions of them. And, I thought it was really funny. What do you guys want to hear? What's your favorite song? I have so many. Cool Keeper, thank you very much. What are the deep details of Savile? Oh, dude, don't even get involved with Savile unless you want nightmares. Jimmy Savile he was let me tell you a little bit about Jimmy Savile. Jimmy Savile was a children's performer. He had a children's show in England. And it was so popular and he was so connected to the royal family. Hang on. They knighted him. He was Sir Jimmy Savile. And he did this. This is when I first really started understanding the evil of mockery, the evil of comedy. Like comedy can be legitimately evil. Jimmy Savile was giving an interview. I got to play it for you guys. It's so profound when you see it. When he's joking about being a wizard. You'll see. This is perfect to show you guys right now. Jimmy Savile, wizard. What was he joking about? Was Jimmy Savile a wizard? Here we go. Let me download this. I'm sure people in the chat have already kind of updated people that don't know. Jimmy Savile raped and tortured and murdered thousands of children. And then people would be like, it was only 500. No, it's confirmed 500. The guy had his own hospital where he would rape and kill children with Down syndrome, dying children. He would rape them as they died. And I'm only saying that, I take no joy in that, obviously. It's that you have to understand how awful, like just truly dark this world can be. There's no virtue in pretending that you don't understand shit. People do that all the time now. They're like, well, I didn't know. Well, I'm explaining it to you then. Hang on a second. This is taking a second. There's wizardry around this. And just know that the best thing you can do is speak this stuff for his victims. That's the best thing you can do. So that way people know the story and they didn't just die anonymously, as someone said that he was just a knight. He was very close to the Prince of England. He was very close to the Queen. He was close to all the BBC. Johnny Rotten said, from the Sex Pistols, said that Jimmy Savile was a pedophile, and they wouldn't let him play on the BBC. Does that sound familiar? People that abuse kids won't let you near a microphone. if you're willing to call them out. I'll show you that video. Let's start with that video real quick. I don't care if they take this down. Just hey guys, by the way, always like feel free to cut up my videos and use the clips. Start clips channels. Owen Benjamin clips channels makes base Texan bank now. Not like bank, but like I'm fine with it. Spread the word. I know these are long as hell and there's a lot of like good sections. Start clips channels. They'll get hits. Like my clips channel videos that Base Texan does gets like, they average like 20,000 views. Like over time, that really, you can make some real money on that. Because no one really just, no, actually a lot of people. But when I said no one, that wasn't true. I was trying to be false humble. A lot of people don't want to watch 3 full hours, so they want clips. All right, Jimmy, Savile, Pierce Morgan. This pretty much encapsulates everything that I've went through in the last couple years here. It's like the powers that be are pedophiles, and they kill kids because that's why Jimmy Savile, they would kill so many children, is because they can't have witnesses. When you have like the Prince of England raping children, they can't have witnesses. So they would go out on their boat. There was this one boat that Savile would always use, and he would. And that's how they get rid of children's bodies that were just raped by the royal family and then killed. And for those of you thinking that this is just dark, like me being dark, this is all real. You can just look any of this up. It's not taught anywhere because our schools are run by pedophiles. Watch this shit.
Included on a pill album. And you were talking about making a film where you kill famous people. Now, it's never been played on television before, but it has a particular relevance. Let's listen to this.
So who else is on the goner list?
No, it's endless, believe me. I just want to make a film of it. On film, I'd like to kill Jimmy Savile. I think he's a hypocrite.
Weren't I right?
I bet he's into all kinds of seediness that we all know about but are not allowed to talk about. I know some rumours. I bet none of this will be allowed out.
I shouldn't imagine libelous stuff will be allowed out.
Nothing I said is libel.
Those fucking hypocrites clapping, none of them would clap when the kids were actually being hurt and killed. None of them. They're only clapping because the dragon's gone now and they feel safe. It's fucking losers.
Sounds a bit harsh, the death list there.
Well, but actually,
sometimes you're contentious in life just because you're bored of that.
But put aside put aside the rhetoric you were using. The fact that in 1978, at the height of the Sex Pistols explosion, there you are saying about Jimmy Savile, he was into all kinds of seediness that we all knew about. We weren't allowed to talk about it. I know some rumors. So you had heard the kind of thing that we now know about him, or stuff like that?
Yeah. I think most kids did too. Most kids wanted to go to the top of the pops, but we all knew what that cigar muncher was up to.
And you can tell that Johnny doesn't even take pleasure in the crowd clapping. You know that he's like, where were you guys when they were being killed? See, that's the weird thing about like punk rockers and metal rockers and some people that you would never guess are the moral backbone of a society. Johnny Rotten from the Sex Pistols had more morality than all the police, all the firefighters, all the BBC and the government and all of them, all the media. And it reminds me a bit of Tommy Robinson, where it's like this like soccer hooligan character from just this random place is the only one saying shit about anything. And it's like the crowd is like, brave, brave. No, wait till you hear what they did to him. And he's taking no joy from that crowd. I'm sure he despises them for the cowardice. They now are comfortable enough to clap. This is very close to my heart right now, I'll tell you that.
Very, very bitter that the likes of Savile and the rest of them were allowed to continue.
And here's the thing that Johnny Rotten is explaining right now. He's like, everyone knew. Like, look at all the things we all know right now. Everyone knows. It wasn't that he was had some inside information about Savile. He just spoke truth to power, and no one else fucking would. Listen to it. And he gives him a little shot about that cigar muncher. Listen to this. Because that's kind of like what you do. Like when you're part of a working class, abused type upbringing, you don't say like pedophile, this child abuser. You call him like a faggot or like a cigar muncher. Because that's just culturally what you do. You're just like, you take a shot at him. You emasculate him. It's fascinating to watch. I'm a big fan of Johnny Rotten from this.
At the height of the Sex Pistols explosion, there you are saying about Jimmy Savile, he was into all kinds of seediness that we all knew about. We weren't allowed to talk about it. I know some rumors. So you had heard the kind of thing that we now know about him, or stuff like that?
Yeah. I think most kids did too. Most kids wanted to go to the top of the pops, but we all knew what that cigar muncher was up to.
By the way, someone just said in the chat, like, Tommy Robinson isn't a soccer hooligan. He's a true patriot. I've literally wrote him a song, guys. I know he's a true patriot. He's like a heroic, brave, awesome. When I just said that about soccer hooligan, my whole point is you never know where it's going to come from. You never know who the hero is. The hero doesn't come with a name tag that says hero. Tommy Robinson acts and talks like a blue collar. I don't even know what the fuck soccer hooligan is. I don't watch soccer because I'm not a fag. But like, I'm just trying to describe a person that was one of the only people to stand up for women and children in an abusive situation. So whoever said that can go fuck themselves.
But I'm very, very bitter that the likes of Savile and the rest of them were allowed to continue.
Did you ever try and do anything about Savile?
I did my bit. I said what I had to.
Did they air that? No. It just got suppressed.
Yeah.
For legal reasons.
Yeah. And
did you meet?
I found myself being banned from BBC Radio there for quite a while for my contentious behaviour.
Guys?
Because of that.
They wouldn't state this stuff.
They banned him from BBC Radio because of what he said about Jimmy Savile. Jimmy Savile was he was connected. He was absolutely one of the most powerful people in England. He was a children's performer. He had a children's show. He had his own charity hospital where he'd rape and kill kids, and he would provide children for the elite to rape and kill. And I'm not pulling any punches here. And what I'm saying is 100% true. And to see people like argue about how many kids it was and whether or not he killed them or just raped them to death, it's disgusting, guys. It's like, if that's what makes you feel good at night, fine. But like what Johnny says right here, and it's so important, he goes, I did my bit. I said it. That is his bit. If more people did that, there is no Jimmy Savile. Jimmy Savile is ripped apart by the villagers. Jimmy Savile will have his neck ripped out. That's why there was an era when like wizards and witches and these people that did this to our children, people just got together and just ripped them apart. Like, you didn't speak that. You didn't, like, and that's why wizardry has gotten so insane, is they're trying to make it so you can't even say pedophilia is bad. And he's like, Johnny Rotten's like, I did my part. And he's from a punk band called the Sex Pistols. That's what I'm saying about hypocrisy, man. It's like, that's the moral guy.
Actually, there'd be other excuses.
I mean, it's shocking.
Oh, yeah.
He got away with it for another 30-odd years.
Well, not only him, a whole bunch of them. And these are the purveyors of good taste, huh?
You were too offensive.
Brilliant, isn't it? Well, I'm still here, and the rest of them, what are still alive, nice bit of jail time for them. Jail time.
How about that? He goes, he's like, I'm still here. The rest of them got a bit of jail time for him. It's like the amount of people in the House of Commons and the House of Lords that got arrested for pedophilia in connection to this. And it's a miracle that people even found out about Jimmy Savile. People like Jimmy Savile go down all the time, like the Steven Spielbergs of the world and these guys. No one will even know what they've done. Think about how many people have lived and died with power, and they've done all this shit, allegedly, about Spielberg. I don't want to get sued for my keyboard in my fire. But no one will even know what they did. And fortunately, Savile got outed, and all these powerful people in England got outed. And poor Johnny Rotten, they told him he couldn't be on the BBC anymore, and he had like all these huge hits, and they wouldn't even play them because of what he said about Savile. And those same people, like the head of the BBC that did that to him, is now the head of the New York Times. The CEO of the New York Times was in charge of the BBC when he shut down Johnny Rotten. There's no justice for these people. These people get promoted. The guy at the BBC that silenced a whistleblower on a child rape syndicate is now in charge of the New York Times. Just let that sink in. And I know a lot of this shit. I don't like talk about this on Instagram because I like to keep it more mellow about the moon. You know, the moon is an analogy. The moon is a metaphor. The moon is a symbolic of the entire point I'm trying to make, but it doesn't have raped kids at the bottom of the English Channel. You know, I don't want that on my shit all day long to like, you know, there's like sweet people that follow me and I don't want them to have to deal with that. I'm addressing government lies. And once you break that mold in your mind, when you're like, oh, these people will lie and kill and rape and torture for like a nugget of power. And then you realize they'll do it for fun.
I have to read this. The BBC has said it's appalled by Savile's crimes and that the Dame Janet Smith Review is considering the culture and practices of the BBC during that period.
I've been getting away with it all my life. Getting away